the TikTok viral latte makeup look. I decided to try it out. This is what it looks like. And if you want to see a step-by-step tutorial on how I came up with this look, keep on watching. I'm not even on TikTok and I still saw this trend everywhere on other social media as well as in the news, so I thought I would recreate it for you. I've been actually thinking about doing some kind of a bronze goddess makeup look, kind of a golden tutorial, and this is basically what this is. The latte trend makeup look is all about this chocolatey, bronzy, coffee colors, brown, smoky, very soft eye overlook. It's great for summer as well as it is for fall. And we've seen this look everywhere on Pinterest and on runways and on models way before the latte trend began. As a makeup artist, as a professional makeup artist, I've used this a lot on models back in the days, a lot on runways, a lot on like Vogue and stuff like that. So it's nothing new, it's just called latte makeup now. So let's jump right in. I'm going to start with an eye primer. This is the Smashbox 24-hour Photo Finish Primer. Using that on my finger all over my lid to make the eyeshadow stick to it better, last longer, and prevent it from creasing. I'm taking it all over my lid as well as up in the crease and blending it outwards just like this. And then the first color that I'm going to be using is from the Lorac Matte Mini Palette, and it's called Corduroy. It's this warm brown right here. It's very, very warm, as you can see. I'm actually going to be using my finger to apply that. I feel like it applies the most intensity. And I'm going to just dab it all over my eyelid. Now, if you want to get the most of the intensity of any eyeshadow color, your finger is your best friend for that. I'm going to be taking it not too much on the inner corner, but just all over the eyelid and not too much in the crease either. I'm just going to stop about where the crease starts. And then I'm going to be taking my Sigma Fluffy E35 blending brush and the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette. Remember that palette? It's pretty old, but I love it, and haven't been using it a lot, but I love the warm shades in it. And I'm going to be taking the Low Blow, which is this shade right here. It's a very, very warm brown, almost orangey, like honey kind of brown. I'm going to be taking it on this brush, topping off any excess, and taking it in my crease and blending it into the shadow that I have on my lid in kind of circular motions to kind of blend them together and not have any transition line, although those two colors look very similar to each other. And I'm going to be taking that really up high, way higher than I normally would with any eyeshadow, by swirling it and blending it just like this, as well as swooping it outwards on the outer corner. Even taking it all the way to the inner corner right here in between your eyebrow and your nose bridge, because this look is all about this very smoky, blown out brown look, like a spilled coffee almost, if you will. So you want to go all over the place, and don't worry about getting it like too much under your eyebrow, because we're going to highlight that after. But with all those looks online on Pinterest, you can see how this eyeshadow look goes really everywhere, all over, upwards and inwards and outwards, a lot. So after we've done that, we want to take a small kind of dense flat brush like this. This is the Short Shader E20 by Sigma, and all the products that I'm using here are going to be linked down below in the description bar if you want to check them out. And I'm going to be taking the Low Blow shade, the same warm tone color, under my lower lash line. And you can be sloppy with it because we're now going to be taking a E45 tapered blending brush. So this is like a crease brush. It's a little bit more precise than the other blending brush that we use. And I'm just going to take a clean brush and blend it downwards. We want it to fade out all around the eye. So I'm just taking it downwards under my lower lash line and really fading it all around it. And then I'm going to be taking the small precise brush again and Corduroy, the first darker shade we used in the center of the lid with our finger. And I'm going to be taking that closer to the lash line. And this time I'm not going to be blending it out with that other brush. This is going to just emphasize and make it darker so that it looks like it's almost fading downwards in like an ombre look, going from darker to lighter. To add a little bit of this bronzy look, I'm going to take the Urban Decay Naked 2 palette, very old palettes we're using today, and the color Snake Bite. No, this is not Snake Bite. I think they're all like misplaced. I believe this is called something else. I'm not sure, it might be Snake Bite. This is what it looks like. It's this bronzy shade right here. Just a few of them just fell out and I placed them back in. I'm not sure if I put them in the right place. So once again, I'm taking that on my finger, a little bit of this, and I'm going to be applying it to the center and the inner part of my eyelid, right on top of the other eyeshadow that we applied. And this is just going to add this more of a bronzy, a little bit more of a metallic look to it. Then with the same short shader brush, I'm going to be taking the gold shade. Once again, I'm not sure if it's all in the same place. Oh, you know what? I think that this one is called Half Baked, if I'm not mistaken. This is this gold shade from the same palette. And I'm going to take it under my inner corner, just right there. Excuse the noise in the background. And then a little bit on the inner corner too, blending it into the other bronzy shade we just applied. We want this gradual, faded in, ombre look. I'm taking it right here on the inner corner, basically all around the inner corner. I'm not done with the eyeshadows yet, but I'm going to be moving on to eyeliner before I move on to the rest of the eyeshadows, and you're going to see in a second why. I'm going to use a black pencil. This is the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in Perversion. And first I'm going to place it on my waterline. We've all seen what happens when I'm placing eyeliner on my waterline in my previous video. And then I'm also going to tightline my upper waterline only on the outer half of my eye. So I'm only going to the center, from the outer corner to the center. And lastly, I'm going to apply it on the top lash line, on the outer third, straight from the pencil like this, just a little bit close as possible to the lash line. I'm almost like dabbing it to get just a little bit of it. And then I'm going to take a small flat angled brush. This is the E65 by Sigma, small angle. And I'm going to take that line in small little tiny strokes and blend it outwards like this. I want to create this very, very soft wing effect on the outer corner. Now, the reason why I applied this liner before I moved on to the rest of my shadows is because I'm going to be taking the Lorac Matte palette again and this darker brown shade, which is called Chocolate, and on a Sigma E45, this tapered brush again, I'm going to be taking that on top of the eyeliner because I don't want it to look that black. Now, obviously, if you have a brown liner, you could use a brown liner, but I feel like applying it on top of a black shadow makes it a little more intense, a little darker, but also fades it out nicely. So I'm taking that chocolate shade and I'm stamping it on top of the liner that I just applied and then blending it in my outer corner. Going a little bit into the crease, a little bit on top of the lash line, all in the outer third of the eye, and blending it inwards in kind of a V shape, and then outwards. This is going to just darken this outer corner without anything looking too intense. We want it's all about this blown out, very soft look. And I'm going to take the same shade, just a little bit in the very tip of the brush, sorry, and under the outer third of my outer lash line. By the way, I have a very similar look tutorial on my channel that I created 8 years ago, way long before this whole latte trend. I just called it like warm fall makeup look, soft warm fall makeup look, something like that. I'm gonna link it, and yeah, it's very similar to that. So if you like this look, you might like that one. That one just has a little bit more of taupe shade, so a little bit of a silver in the center of the lid, but yeah, it's very similar. Now to highlight under my eyebrow, like I said, and also to clean up the outer edge right here underneath to make it look a little bit more cat eye and more uplifted, I'm going to be taking a flat brush. This is the MAC 250, I can't see the number, 256 I think, or 252, 252, I think 252. And the Lorac Matte palette again and the shade Latte. And I'm going to take it under the outer edge on the outer corner of my eye, right here like this. To kind of clean it up and create more of a winged out effect to lift it up. And the reason why I didn't go too sharp underneath, like from the very beginning, and didn't like hold a card or put a tape or anything like that, is because I still want to keep this soft look, but I just don't want the shades, darker shades, to go too far down in this outer corner right here. And then I'm going to take the same shade on the same brush under my eyebrow to highlight it a little bit. And then to add a little bit of a spark under the eyebrow, not too much, but just to create this glowy bronzy effect, I'm going to take the Bonnie Luminizer from the Balm and a little bit on that same brush to buff any excess and take it under the arch of my eyebrow, just a little bit. Before we move on to the rest of the face, I'm going to just curl my lashes with the e.l.f. eyelash curler and apply some mascara to my top and bottom lashes using the L'Oreal Voluminous Original in Very Black or Black is Black. My top and bottom lashes, normally you like to apply mascara on my bottom lashes for various reasons, for my particular eye shape, but today I'm going to apply just a little bit on the bottom lashes too. Quick about the rest of the face, I'm going to use the Galactic Matte Bronzer in Cabo. It looks like this, just with a Sigma F40 brush to warm up my face, because obviously this is a very bronzy look. So I'm going to go on my temples, hairline, just on the outer contour of the face, basically, under my cheekbones. Just to warm up my complexion. And with whatever is left in the brush, I'm gonna go on my cheeks a little bit. So I'm not using any blush. I just want to look like bronzy without too much pink. And it looks like I already have blush on for some reason. I don't know, I guess it's hot in here, but maybe it's the light. But I'm not using any blush on top of that. Then for highlight, which is also very important for this look, I'm going to be using the same highlight that I used under my eyebrow, which is a Bonnie Luminizer by the Balm with a Sigma highlighter brush F35. A little bit of that on the tops of my cheekbones. As well as a little bit on the bridge of my nose and my Cupid's bow. I'm going to apply faux freckles using the Freck Original little freckle liner. I do have my own natural freckles, but the makeup just hides it, so I like to bring them back using this. Normally I use it right after I apply concealer and before I apply face powder, but just for the sake of the video, I did it now. And lastly, for lips, I'm going to use a very natural nude lip, but I want it to be a little glossy because that's what most looks on Pinterest seem to be wearing on their lips. So I'm just going to use the NYX lip pencil in Nude Beige. This is one of my favorite colors. It's kind of like a soft brown, a little more nude than your natural lip shade, but not too nude. And I'm going to be lining my lips and then filling them in using that. And that's the shade of that. And now on top of that, to make it a little glossy, I'm going to use the Skin Chemist London little lip plumper right on top. I really hope you like this look, and as always, if you're going to try and recreate it, make sure to tag me on Instagram, MakeupAndArtFreak _ so that I can repost your looks on my Instagram stories. Follow me if you haven't yet, and subscribe for more pro tips and tricks in the future. Also, like this video if you found it helpful. It helps tremendously, and I'm going to see you in the next video.